What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo.
Welcome to Couch in the Roo, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, inspiring people to do better, be better, look better, feel better every day of their lives. I'm telling you, last night, Jason, a little bit of Skymint night for me. Yeah. And it did wonders. I was a little sore. I was amazing on the basketball court earlier in the day. Was feeling a little bit my legs. Skymint made a huge difference. But I will say, Raccoon Graham then made an appearance.
Yeah. Has to be. Has to happen, right?
It was quite an internal struggle. Like, I won some blows. Raccoon Graham won some blows. At the end of the day, I didn't completely destroy what was otherwise a good day of eating. But, you know, there were some
lots of blows.
Lots of blows. And, had to put away the salsa and jar and the chips before it got too bad. Right up into my rectum. And it was painful. Yeah, so there's that. It's the only downside I've ever seen to Skymint is the lack of discipline I sometimes have.
It's not Skymint's fault.
It's not.
They provide the fun, and they count on you to be able to contain yourself. And I'm not ripping on you fully because I went to the Kings of Leon concert at DTE and overate myself silly. So, like, I'm hungover from overeating.
I've been there.
It's not from, Skymint. It's from eating.
No, I slept like a baby because of the Skymint.
Yeah.
But I'll say this with the overeating thing. I've done that. That feeling. I went to an all-you-can-eat night at a minor league baseball park in Beloit, Wisconsin once, and
you've been here 4 hours. You leave now.
I was
you big man.
Yeah, I had 3 hot dogs or brats and 3 hamburgers.
3 hamburgers.
So I had 6
all buns.
6 meals that are meant to be a full meal, pretty much.
Well, they're still smaller.
Yeah.
If a hot dog's a meal.
But I left
buns
with like
and all.
I left with like the meat sweats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, being diabetic, you already. I sweat from that already, and then I'm sitting there hammering pizza, popcorn, and all sorts of shit. But it was a great time.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah. Another story we're telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington. A reminder: if you're looking for a way to start your week, 20% off your tab on Mondays at Midtown Brewing Company. Try their outstanding menu and beer selection. Great cozy vibe. They've also got an outdoor covered patio that they're going to transition to the fall to make you even more comfortable if you'd rather be outside. Just a cool vibe, great food, great people at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. Are you ready to dig into these hot takes?
I think so.
All right. Why don't you go first?
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
First, I would like to congratulate my friends Jordan and Sam for getting engaged over the weekend and also going to 2 Detroit Tiger baseball games and only seeing 3 hits. Yes, that's right, Graham. They were at the game last night. And it's like, I was asking him, I'm like, obviously you're rooting for the Miggy 500, right? Do you root for the perfect game if you're at the game? And I was thinking it's only happened, 24 times in Major League Baseball history? I think I would root for the perfect game. Obviously, I would like Miggy to break it up with its 500th. As a fan, do you go, I'm not saying stand up and cheer, but kind of like, God damn, that was pretty cool. I mean, McKenzie, who's 1-4 and just mows down batter after batter. I mean, he had 1 3-pitch guy. I don't know. It's just bizarre. Anyway, do we start betting on the Tigers against them?
No.
I know Casey Mize starts tomorrow night. They play the Angels, but then they have a crazy kind of schedule coming up with the Blue Jays who score a lot of runs. Great run differential. Maybe the Cardinals, we stay away. Blue Jays for another 3-game set. Twins, okay. And then the Athletics for 3 more games. I think we could make some money here, Graham. Because the Tigers did announce that they're going to, Casey Mize and Skubal, they're going to kind of stretch out their starts. They're not going to bring up Riley Green or Torkelson. So we're not going to see some of these guys in the pitching. It's going to be getting worse. So I thought maybe we start betting against the Tigers again.
It's got to be situational. It's got to be completely opponent dependent. And to me, that's not the Angels, who screwed us over a year ago with that Orioles bet when we started betting against the Orioles, or 2 years ago.
But you have to forget those kind of things.
I know.
You're a gambler.
I never mess with the Angels. They're a weird team. They're a weird franchise. They're in a part of Southern California that's just kind of a suburban mall. What is it? What is Anaheim anyway? Right?
Why does it matter where they're located?
I don't know. It's kind of a Twilight Zone club. I'm not. Isn't that where
they're just a strip mall?
Yeah. Isn't that where Reggie Jackson, who he plays for in the Naked Gun movies anyway? Yeah. There's a lot of you can't trust.
That's a negative?
You just can't trust betting against them. Anyway, but there are games. You're right. The Blue Jays for sure, and then and the Athletics for sure, and then they get to a stretch later in September. We're going to be lost in football season. Heading into the first NFL weekend, I would advise not forgetting to bet against the Tigers because they play in this stretch starting Tampa Bay Rays, so it feels like they haven't played yet this year. They play Tampa Bay, Milwaukee, Tampa Bay again for 4 more games, the White Sox.
There you go.
That 4-series stretch right there.
That's the stretch where we make our money.
That's it.
Okay. So September 10th.
Yep. September
against
10th.
The Tigers Rays, they'll be at home.
Through the 22nd.
Man, what a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
I think that's what we have to do.
Because, part of what's happened to the Tigers this year, and it's a great story, but baseball just kind of sucks, at least the teams on their schedule.
Yeah.
The Central Division's awful, and that's who they play most of the time. I can't remember them seeing the Devil Rays. If they did, it was early on. They just haven't played a lot of good teams. It's just.
Will Miggy have 500 by September 10th?
Sure. And that would have been cool to.
I don't want it to happen, to be honest with you.
If he had, why not?
Because I feel like games are more, intensified now that Miggy's got the streak, and it makes it fun to watch.
It's probably in their heads. Everybody's waiting for it. They need it to happen. They absolutely need it to happen. And to answer your question, yes, I was rooting for the perfect game because it is history. And
not over the Miggy 500 home run.
No, I would. Yeah. The best thing to do was, instead of that bloop single breaking it up, it's Miguel Cabrera's 500th. That's the story you want. Yep. But I wouldn't root for a no hitter against the Tigers because those, what do we got, 8-9 this season. A perfect game is different.
I don't think I would root for the perfect game. I think I would stand up and cheer the pitcher who completed the perfect game, obviously. But I don't think I would be standing up, cheering against your own team.
I don't want to be standing up, but I'd be sort of internally rooting.
Hell yeah!
Have you ever been to a perfect game or a no hitter?
Well, dude, there's only been 24 perfect games.
How about no hitter in person?
No.
I've been to 2 almost no hitters and didn't know either one of them was happening.
That's a good thing. It's like what the pitcher needs in the dugout.
I'm sitting there. First one, Cubs game. Sitting there with my wife when she lived up near Wrigley, and all of a sudden, I think it was John Lester was on the mound. Late in the 7th inning, the other team gets a hit, and everybody stands up and applauds. I'm like, what the hell are these people doing? That's the Reds. Why are they, or whoever it was, And then I realized it was the first hit of the game. And then another time we were in Milwaukee, and Scherzer was with the Nationals, and I was like, hey, beginning of the 9th inning, you want to leave and beat the traffic? We'd just been chatting, good seats, having fun. And we were getting up, and I look up at the scoreboard. I'm like, oh, he's pitching a no-hitter. Like, it was the 9th inning. I didn't know, so we sat down. He gave up a hit. But neither time did I have any clue a no-hitter was happening.
Cody has a great Roy Halladay. He was there for his, was it a perfect game or I forget, no-hitter with him and his ex-girlfriend in Miami, I think.
Did they leave?
No. They broke up or something during the trip. It's just, believe me, it's a story worth telling.
We should get Cody on sometime to tell that story we're telling, presented by Midtown Brewing Company.
It's great. I don't want to ruin it.
Okay. We'll let. All right. So I was going to go MSU football, but I'll go to that second since we're on the Tigers, because this is one I want to get to. When you're younger and I'm talking about like a child usually, and you picture like lineups of your favorite team. You may write down what the roster could be next year and whatever sport it is. You're putting together the starting 5 in basketball or baseball. You're drawing the field. This is who could be where. It's kind of fun to imagine that with the Tigers right now. It really, like, they went from in April this year, me going, I don't know how many guys are on this roster that can be on a winning, team that does anything, to, hey, I can see next year's lineup, and I kind of want to go to the park and see that lineup. We're talking about, obviously, Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson being part of that. And I don't know if there have been 2 more exciting minor league players in the Tiger system in a long time.
Not the Tigers. I was going to mention Vlad and Bichette here. locally in Lansing.
That was really cool. And you don't realize what you had because it's a brief time. If you're in a minor league town with these guys, you get a couple months of it and, take advantage of it. But if you think about an outfield next year with Riley Green, Akil Baddoo, Robbie Grossman, I like that outfield. I'm not saying that's your final World Series outfield, but that's an outfield I'd like to see play. It's an outfield that can get things done. I like Robbie Grossman. I think he's been a really good signing for them. Akil Baddoo, obviously you got to see what he develops into. An exciting player, and then Riley Green. Your infield, Spencer Torkelson, probably at first, most of the time. Jamer Candelario. You don't know if he's the answer at third yet. Maybe it is Torkelson. Maybe it's not him. But he's certainly a guy who's under contract and deserves a little more time and probably deserves a short deal to see where he'll wind up. Miguel Cabrera will still be on the roster, probably DHing. He's had an uptick to what he's doing. He's worth being in the lineup. He's not going to bat third or fourth, I don't think. And Jonathan Scope. And then your shortstop to be signed. So you've got to add the short. That's the no doubt position you got to go after. And then behind the plate, either Eric Haas or Jake Rogers, depending on the day. Like that's a lineup. That's a 9 that I'm going to watch. There's not somebody in there. There's no, there's no, like, there's still guys. There's no Victor Reyes. You're like, oh fuck, that guy's up. There's none of that.
But are they going to go big in free agency? That would be another tell. But for the base that you were mentioning, yes, it should be able to be competitive for a Central. No doubt.
Well, and at least in the wild card, I don't know if they'll catch the White Sox. But you add the shortstop, and say you go get one more piece, then yeah, you'd move somebody else or you move around.
You don't know what happens to the White Sox a year from now, right?
They've got a pretty good young core. Yeah. But then even this, the pitching staff with Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, Matthew Boyd. We'll see where Turnbull is arm-wise, and maybe Matt Manning or somebody else. But it's still, you can see the different arms that could be there, the options they could have, and a bullpen that includes Fulmer, Funkhauser, Soto, and Cisnero. Like that, all of a sudden you're going, okay, I can see how that team's really competitive. And you start to see why this team now is competitive. Yeah, they don't have that shortstop yet. They don't have Riley Green. They don't have Spencer Torkelson. But you start to look at, going into this year, you didn't know which among these players could actually be part of something that was winning. And you realize, well, Baddoo's been a big part of things. Grossman's been really good. Candelario's been all right. Cabrera's found himself. Scopes had a good year. Haas has been terrific. What a find. Jake Rogers, who I thought career might be over, has been, until he got hurt, been really good. The young pitchers have shown promise. Like, all of a sudden, you start to see why it's happening, and you start to look at next year and go, that's a team I want to go to the ballpark and see.
And I think that's the crazy thing about baseball. I think a lot of teams should have that expectation going into the seasons for fans. There's probably about what you would say 15 fans, like of Major League Baseball teams, that know going into the season they have no shot, and that we're just going to go out to the ballpark once or twice during the summer, and that's sad. With a no salary cap sport, you should definitely have some anticipation, no matter what baseball team you are.
And when you look,
sending it out there,
you look at the lineup, it makes it very clear. Obviously, you have to find a shortstop. I would like to see them add another bat, but I'll be honest. You don't want to add a bat that forces a move you don't want to make necessarily. Like, for example, if you add another outfield bat, let's say you go sign a big corner outfielder, and I'm not saying you don't want to do that, and you can have 4 outfielders in the roster. Now, Akil Baddoo doesn't have to play every night, neither does Grossman, but you're going to play Riley Green eventually every night, and Grossman, the person you sign better be enough above Grossman. And he's an okay fielder. He's not a very good fielder. He's been good at the plate. But you know what I mean? Like, you're bumping somebody out. At some point, you may bump Candelaria out. They may get somebody else besides Scope in there. I don't know. We'll as time goes on. But I think the necessity to sign 2 big names after this year, I'd like to see them do it because I think they need to make that move. But the shortstop part is critical. You throw that 9 with a stellar shortstop in free agency, and I'm all in next year wanting to see it happen. Or maybe it's, instead of another position player, maybe even as you're waiting on pitchers, there's another starter you go out and get.
And do Riley Green and Torkelson make the opening day roster?
I don't know. That's a good question. Bring them up? That's a good question. Because if you don't, then it's – but there are some other intriguing players. But you're right. They probably do need to sign, again, I think 2 big contracts, but maybe one of them are 2 good – one of them's a bona fide proven starter. Maybe that's the other position, and with a shortstop. I think there's some absolute flexibility there. Okay, what is your second hot take?
Well, we spoke of the no-hitter earlier in the take number 1, and there was a no-hitter that was pretty cool over the weekend. Tyler Gilbert, who was in the minor leagues, Grant, for 7 years. pitched for the Arizona Diamondbacks in his first start, pitched a no-hitter against the San Diego Padres with his father in the stands. Isn't that what sports is about? I'm not to be cheesy and cliche, but really, it's like when you see stories like that and watch the dad in the stands, it makes you go, all right, fuck Twitter and all the negative shit on it, and stuff like this is amazing. Shout out to Tyler Gilbert. And his dad.
It was pretty cool to see.
Right.
And it was the fourth time, I think, in Major League history that somebody's pitched or thrown a no-hitter in their first start.
I mean, 7 years in the minor leagues, traveling around, trying to chase your dream, and you get there the first day, and you pitch a no-hitter.
Nah, and the emotions on his dad's face were pretty.
That was
the whole
awesome.
family was
you
really
imagine
really
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's not really a take, but it's going to get here on Monday.
It's better than football is back.
I don't know. It's up there.
Okay.
Yeah. Third one might beat it.
All right. I wrote a column this weekend.
Boo.
Right. That's usually the reaction. And in doing so, went back over some stats with Michigan State football over time. And it was about their offensive line and the sacks allowed and running game. And one of the things I wanted to do for my own just knowledge is get a sense of statistically everything we've known about this offensive line and the struggles over the recent years. How much is it really there, and how much is it cost them in the win column, or how much is it correlated with winning and losing in the last decade? And what you really find is, and this is the take, you don't have to have a great offensive line, but if you don't, you've got to have everything else to win. And if you just have a great offensive line, you can have a lot of shortcomings elsewhere and be okay, because you can win up front, move the pile, keep things going. You can have an average quarterback. You can be just okay at receiver. You know what I mean? There are all sorts of things you can get away with if you just get the offensive line. Instead, the way Michigan State has been trying and having to do it and unable to do it because they haven't had these pieces is you've got to have a great quarterback. You've got to have everything else going for you to be able to overcome the fact that you can't push people around. And when you can't protect either, you got a problem. So one of the things I did is I went back for the last decade, and I wanted to see, and there are lots of ways to analyze stats. But to me, the best way to do it for Michigan State football is to look at how they fare against the measuring stick programs. And what I mean by those, I mean these 6 Big Ten teams: Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, Wisconsin, Northwestern. And they're measuring sticks for different reasons, right? I mean, Ohio State is like, that's the top of the league. That's the team that at a certain point Michigan State was beating at times or competing with well. That's where you'd love to be. Michigan's obviously the rival. Penn State is probably more of a like-minded, similar institution. Place your another division rival that you want to be at or above. Iowa, Wisconsin, 2 very similar schools you've had rivalries with in the West. With Northwestern, somewhat the same. Northwestern, they've had some great battles with over the last decade, consequential games. Sort of, and these are all teams where, you kind of know the health of the program over time when you look at how things have gone against those 6. So I looked at how things have gone against those 6. First of all, in the last 4 years, against those 6 teams, Michigan State is 7-12. From in the if you look at their heyday years, 2010-11, 13 through 15, and 2012, by the way, very similar year in certain respects. Offensive line that was beaten up, struggled. Great running back, didn't really matter. A lot of the stats were the same, even with Le'Veon Bell in terms of yards per carry and the sacks allowed as you've seen in the last 4 years. But if you look at 2010-11 and you look at 13 through 15, when MSU ran the ball an average of 4 yards a carry instead of 3 yards a carry or less these last few years, mostly 2.8 these last 4 years, they were 19-3. 7-12 versus 19-3. Again, there are lots of other things going on. But in the last 4 years, they've had not a single game against those 6 teams where they've averaged more than 4.1 yards a carry. 3 games at 4 yards a carry, 11 at under 3 yards a carry, and 4 at under 2 yards a carry. And no games with more than 1 rushing TD. 11 without a single one. Like, that is the story of the program. And we can talk about the speed and the problems they've had at receiver in certain years where they couldn't get separation, or the quarterback issues. But if you put the offensive line Michigan State had when Jack Conklin was around and those guys in 2015 that bullied Ohio State, if you give Brian Lewerke and Cody White and L.J. Scott the whole time he's there, if you give those guys that offensive line, the way we look at all of them is different. The whole deal is different. And to me, it was an interesting look back at 10 years and how it correlated wins and losses, and a reminder that for all the other things that are interesting, and yes, it's important who the quarterback is. Quarterback play is a central position, probably the most important position. Looks like they have some speed at wideout. Looks like they've got good backs. Defense intriguing. Lots of things to look at. Lots of fun things to look at. Really, the guys up front, and they've got 9 guys who have started games at the college level, 8 at Michigan State. Jarrett Horse, as I wrote, maybe the most important piece. A guy they think's a little different at left tackle. They've got 2 true tackles now. They haven't had tackles. They've got a lot of guards playing outside. I think that is really, you want to see where this year's going to go. Watch how they do up front against Northwestern.
The games are won in the trenches.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, what is your third hot take?
Don't really have one, but I know that you're a big fan of the COVID news and updates and stuff, and we did go to the Kings of Leon concert, like I mentioned earlier, and Cold War Kids opened for them. Pretty good band. It was pretty fun to watch those guys at DTE. I will say, Graham, it was empty, and they were handing out tickets to Under the Pavilion, and I was just kind of wondering. I know there's a different fandom for football, and people will definitely go and probably pack those stadiums. But I was wondering, because Kings of Leon is a pretty popular band and should have sold out DTE. I know it was on a Sunday, but still, I just don't know if that is COVID related or if is that going to trickle down into sporting events and people are still unsure of going to events like that.
It entirely is. And what's interesting is we did see you in the playoffs in the NBA and NHL. We saw some packed crowds. We've seen packed crowds. It's not like every place is afraid to pack.
But that was kind of before the variant kind of popped back up, right? I mean,
totally. And the variant matters. I mean, my mother was going to go to a Lugnuts game with a friend on one of the weekend nights, and that friend, who's a very cautious person in her 70s, just said, I'm not real comfortable right now doing that. And so that's the cautious end of a woman in her 70s in a Lugnuts game where there's room to breathe. You're fine. But I do think we're going to see it. And you look at the number of tickets available at Michigan State. You look at other, I'm sure other colleges will have this. There's going to be some open seats. There can be people, first of all, who have been out. One of the things the folks over at Michigan State talked to me about, the people who do their tickets, is it's been people have been out of that routine of going to things. People have got comfortable saying, you know what, I'll just do this from home. And maybe this is a better experience. It's going to be incumbent on places like MSU to make that experience better. There are a lot of people who are just chomping at the bit to go. There are a lot of people who can't wait to tailgate. There's going to be a good crowd. But I think you'll have elbow room in the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, they were fighting against 4K televisions in the comfort of your own home, and then you throw in the COVID variant. Now people are like, shit, I think I'll wait till next year. But I know that there will be other fans that will probably, want to scoop up those tickets and still go to the game. So I think football is different because of the fandom and the shorter seasons, whereas Kings of Leon comes into town. You're like, all right, they're a younger band. They'll come around again. I think I'll catch them next time. It was just interesting to see how many the little people were at the concert last night.
All right, my third hot take. Should I go, and these are two oldies but goodies from Graham.
Oh, the classics.
The classics. Should I go cord cutting or American soccer fans? Where do you want to go here?
Well, I already zoned out once, so if you go soccer, it's going to be twice, so it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, the soccer thing was just me getting my usual Twitter spat yesterday.
No, you've done that one.
Yeah, I've done
that.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
All right, so the cord cutting thing, though, I am curious about people who are, like, cord cutting was the cliche millennial thing to do. And when I say millennial, look, I'm almost a millennial. Millennials were just a few years after me.
No, we're not.
We're not. Oregon Trail generation. We're the greatest generation.
We're not that either. I don't even know what that means.
That's 77 to like 83. But the
cool kids generation.
Well, we can do everything. We're hybrids, so to speak. But the I was watching the soccer, but what I was watching is irrelevant. And I'm watching one match that's on Peacock, and there are two that are on Peacock and one that's on regular TV. And it's a pain in the ass to go back and forth. And I'm like, how in 2021 is it harder for me to flip back and forth between sporting events than it was in 1996? Is this what cord cutting is? Like
This
pain in the ass loading apps? What? Like, how do we get here? How do we let anybody control it? And then I think about the bill I had when I had Hulu as my primary television with internet versus my bill now back with Comcast, 2-year deal, and I'm paying $15 less. Like, all I'm saying is, if you're into cord cutting, and look, if you've got 17 different passwords from different parents and friends, and you're actually not paying for everything, maybe it's a better deal. And maybe if you're an out-of-market person that doesn't need local teams, you can find, I can get the MLB package, I can do this, it's a better deal. But if you're a local person and you like sports at all, it's less convenient, the quality's less, and it's not any cheaper. I don't understand your cord cutting. I don't understand the argument for it, other than hating cable and those companies, and if you want to stick it to them and it's worth it to you. But if you prefer quality, what you're saying when you cut the cord right now mostly is, I don't care about quality. I'll and
you don't care if you see it on time, like in current, like.
And maybe you don't. And a lot of people watch less TV,
time.
and there's a lot. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong for, especially if you can cut your price down, but you'd be surprised what you can actually get, the deal you can get if you call your local cable provider these days.
I thought they call your bluff. Like, oh yeah, go for it, cord cutter. Try flipping channels when the game's on.
I'm paying $136 right now for Wi-Fi and the cable package. It's a really good one.
Yeah. Ours is about $200 a month, but we have the internet, all that stuff. We tried, we can't save any money, and it's like you said, it's a pain in the ass. I don't know if it's because I'm inept and I can't use the TV properly, where to switch back and forth. I just don't know if you can't go from cable to an app.
It's just, there's 3 soccer games I want to watch, a couple of which I had money on. By the way, there's some money to be made on Premier League soccer. There is. If you bet the games you really want, not the competitive games, you want the games, you find the mismatches, there's some real games, real money to be
Is it
won.
enough money to pay people to not shame me for watching soccer?
Yes.
Damn, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm telling you. There's
wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like $1.8 million a week.
1.8?
Yeah. No,
Cockburn.
all right, that's that. I'm going to get off that take because we're going to lose people really quickly, and we have lots of really good listener hot takes. Let's take a quick break. We'll get into those when we get back. Couch on the Roof, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis.
Wherever you are on your cannabis journey, let Skymint Premium Cannabis be your guide, your friend, and your place. Whether you're curious about cannabis or a seasoned connoisseur, Skymint's knowledgeable staff will help you with a vast selection of products to choose from to fit your needs. Skymint believes access to the best cannabis helps people do good and feel good, so they grow it right here in Michigan, giving you high-quality, locally grown cannabis at highly accessible prices. Visit skymint.com for special offers and location information throughout Michigan, and use the promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off your first visit. Skymint Cannabis. You'll love this place. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen, Bar, or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite, Podcast Addict.
Couch in the Roof, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, with locations throughout Michigan. You probably live within half an hour of a Skymint location. There are 3 in the greater Lansing area. And if you go, use the promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off. Just tell them behind that, look up Couch and Rube 20, the Couch and the Rube promo code. They'll have it in their computer. You'll get 20% off. And it's a great way to save on edibles or flour, whatever you want from Skymint. And really knowledgeable staff. Good vibe. I always say the best thing about it, it's a place you can feel comfortable taking your mom. It's the best thing I can say about Skymint. How many other places are there like that in the world? I mean, other than like Meyer and.
Well, it depends on the mom.
Right, it's true. Okay, never mind. Yeah. All right, let's dig into these hot takes.
Eric Schultz up first. 3 takes for my weekend in Kalamazoo for a wedding. Number 1, for what is now a national craft beer company, Bell's Actually Brew Pub in Kalamazoo has done a great job of staying Michigan-centric and local. 2, Henderson Castle is a beautiful building and has a ton of potential, but man, got to be better, both as an inn and a wedding venue. Yelp review. 3, the Graham Couch statue outside the Kalamazoo M-Live building is 90% accurate. The rib cage on the statue could have been bigger, though.
Appreciate you, Eric. A couple things. Well, we looked at Henderson Castle as a wedding venue when my wife and I got married in 2017. We looked before, and there are some issues. One, the best like area for a lot of the wedding stuff is up on like the 4th floor. And if you've got like grandparents or people who, and there's no elevator that's like built before,
People needed elevators?
Well, before there were certain codes that required that. And so they're grandfathered in.
How are we going to get up there?
It is a cool place. It's a little bit of an odd building. It's an unbelievable building. It's an unbelievable venue, and there's some cool stuff outside with the outside, wine bar and everything. There's a lot of cool stuff. But agreed, we did not go with it as our wedding venue for a number of logistical reasons, and there are some things. I don't know. The wedding's supposed to be like on the stair. I don't know. There are a lot of. I don't want to get too much into Henderson Castle as a wedding venue. I love the building, love the idea of it. I'm sure there are things to work on, and I'm glad to hear the statue's coming along.
Dominic up next. Number 1, it's a challenge to get excited about anything long-term because of the maskless and unvaccinated imbeciles. Feels like another version of February 2020 when we didn't want to believe what was ahead, and it sucks. It really fucking sucks. 2, chop judges that manufacture a complaint about a dish for dramatic purposes deserve the chair. Sometimes a chef can just nail it, and there's no critique. It doesn't make for riveting television. It just makes you sound like a discredited asshole. Looking at you, Aaron Sanchez. 3.
I love that was on his mind.
Football play-by-play guy that says during every replay review, now remember, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn, is only slightly better than late-game basketball analyst that says, you don't need to settle for a 3 here.
I hate that you don't need to settle for a 3 here guy.
2 for 1.
I hate the guy who's looking at the math and like if they go for 2 here, then they can foul with 2 seconds left. And if the guy misses both free throws and they hit a full court shot, they'll be able to tie. Sometimes you got to shoot.
But you have to
three.
say the obvious, though. If you're a color commentator, that's why I feel bad for these guys. You have to kind of state the obvious in some of these cases.
He's right. He's right on Chopped. Do you ever watch Chopped?
No.
It's a fun show, but sometimes they put them in these tough spots. They got to. You have a certain amount of ingredients, and you got a clock behind you, and they've got to make all these dishes, and then they get judged with incredible harshness. And sometimes it feels like they're judging for the sake of judging.
What if they have a competition where they have to cook while listening to Couch in the Rube?
That would only slow them down.
Oh, that's what I mean. It'd be a good contest.
It would be. Yeah.
G.E. Miller. Number 1, MSU could finish anywhere from second to last in the Big Ten East. And we'll know where by the end of game 1, but no one knows now. 2, Elijah Collins and Kenneth Walker are top 2 rushers in that order.
These are good, and I agree that Elijah Collins might wind up getting this. I mean, it's the beauty of football, and really any sport, but you can't hide anybody in football. You can recruit your own dude. You can bring your own transfer in. The tape, as Mel Tucker says, every practice tells the story. Everybody knows who the best running back is. You can see it. And I think that's one of the frustrations behind some of the times they've rushed Connor Hayward in the past. And, you feel like, isn't there another guy with a little more juice on the roster? Why is that guy running the ball? Because people see it. I think there's a real chance Elijah Collins has a good year. Second in the Big East to the last in the Big East. Big Ten East, not Big East. Sorry. It's written like Big East. I think that's absolutely correct. Penn State, I do think, is going to be pretty good this year. The more I read about them, I think that's going to be a tough game for Michigan State end of the year. I think they're going to be better than MSU, probably even if MSU's good. I think that's going to be a really good team. But the other thing is, you're right. Nobody has any clue right now where that is.
Jeff Haddis up next. Number 1, Keon Coleman is going to have such a breakout year in football. He will never lace up his sneakers for Izzo. 2, Tim Boyle is ass. Cut him immediately. 3, Jeff Smoker to Charles Rogers is the most dynamic duo in MSU history. And 4, still waiting on the Where Are They Now article featuring Jeff Smoker. Get your shit together, Couch.
I will. I'll work on that because it does need to be done. That's a good.
Yeah, but does Smoker want to talk? I want details.
You want real Smoker?
Yeah. I thought Cody tried getting in touch with him.
Something went wrong with that because I know
I don't know if does Smoker really want to talk about some of that shit?
Yeah, I mean, I think he and I might be Facebook friends now. I'll look.
Ooh.
I can reach out. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Pinterest.
Yeah.
We pinned the same picture.
Keon Coleman. Look, when they show these highlights from MSU football scrimmages and practices, and Coleman keeps showing up, that's not an accident. They're careful about what message they put out there. If they didn't think he was going to have a chance to be part of things, I don't think you'd see him on the highlights. I just don't. I don't think he's going to be their number one receiver because, he's, as I've heard from people sort of in the program, he is a little raw in terms of understanding the offense, but he's got an immense talent. The good situation for a guy like him, if you remember Aaron Burbridge in 2012 as a freshman, big deal guy, number one recruit in the state, Michigan State's receivers that year weren't ready. That group became really good. That became the Tony Lippett group. There was a lot of talent in that group that was very good at the Rose Bowl year in 2014, and then Burbridge became the guy in 15. But in 2012, they were desperate, and they leaned on him. He had that 8-catch game in Indiana, and but then he struggled when teams started knowing who he was. And the beauty for Keon Coleman is when you look at this Michigan State receiver core, it's pretty good. He's not going to see a lot of extra attention, and he's not going to have to play all the time. You can put a package together for him. You can bring him in passing situations, and he'll be able to deal with that. So I think he's in a great situation if he's ready to contribute somewhat to actually be able to contribute.
And how do you think that will work with Tucker and Izzo if Keon Coleman starts out blazing hot and you can kind of tell that he's going to be a next level kind of player?
I think
Izzo, you just talk to Izzo if you're Tucker and say, stay away from basketball.
So I think Coleman's going to play basketball this year for this reason. I think eventually he'll only play football or he'll only play basketball. It's hard to do both, whichever one goes better. But I think Keon Coleman wishes he was just a basketball player. I think that's his first love. That's just I could be wrong on that, but that's
because he sees Evan Fournier making $110 million.
That's just reading my tea leaves. Is he'd love to be a big-time basketball player more than a big-time football player. Now, a lot of times guys have to make that business decision at some point, but I think he'll play at least 1 year of basketball.
Graham said tea leaves. Do a shot. Spartan 18. Oh, these are for you. Spartan 18770 in Yoda voice. I don't do a Yoda voice.
Justin Fields and the Lions will be what Mahomes is to Chicago. Survive the season. Cocky pants will not. Center, not tackle. Fortunes of the Spartans line. This will be determined. Bonus. Ask Graham's impressions of me are. Well done, Spartan.
Oh, man. That's the terrible part about bringing the Yoda bit to light is that people will write in 3 takes.
No, they've got it. There's more coming, unfortunately.
Oh, shit.
But here, these are good takes beyond the Yoda voice.
I don't even know what they were.
Well, the 2 and 4 are but and center, not tackle, he's in is the key to the Spartans line, and there have been years where they've lost that, and that's been it was the year after Brian Allen was done that they really struggled. Like Brian Allen kept together a young line. His brother way back when Jack Allen was pivotal. I do think right now with Matt Allen and Samac, they've got some experience there. We'll see. But is there at any level, is there nerves for you about Justin Fields' regret and the Lions not taking him?
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's always regret whenever the Lions make a draft.
I'm just saying. Do you fear at all, like a year or two from now, you're going to look and go,
no, it's
Fields.
It's preseason hype. If he starts playing well, obviously, yeah, he'll start having some regret. But, could he be the next Robert Griffin III and get injured and be out? Who knows? But, as a Lions fan, you regret everything right away. So I'll say yeah. Bo McJunkin's up next. Number 1, MSU versus USC in football needs to happen. How has this not happened? 2, Tucker is making a great move, bringing Brenda Tracy in. I hope she gives Izzo a second opportunity opportunity to smooth things over. Talking negatively about him after the first time they spoke seemed unfair. And 3, if there are Zoom press conferences somehow this year, hopefully not, we should get a Yoda Solari, good to see you.
See you, good to see. I don't know. I didn't even do it right.
Oh.
We're gonna move past Yoda a little bit here for a while, unless it's brought up.
Cockburn.
MSU USC. First of all, yeah, they're two. I mean, classic programs that fit Trojan Spartans, and in '87 they played actually twice. The Rose Bowl year they opened that year with USC. That should be. I wish that was a somewhat regular opponent. I do think that would be a great rivalry. We're gonna get into the Brenda Tracy thing in a little bit. Somebody else has a really good hot take on her visiting, and she's the sexual assault spokesperson and survivor who noted and travels around talking to teams, has the expectation hashtag, and had a little bit of a conversation with Izzo that didn't go great, and she talked about it last time, and that was a while ago, and they looked at bringing her in at one point a couple years ago, and anyway, they did this past weekend, and so what? She talked negatively about Izzo and the encounter. We'll get into that in a minute because there's another hot take that brings it up that brings up a point that I want to get into.
All right, McShane up next. Number 1, Imani Bates will sign with Memphis, but be ejected for complaining to refs in his first 3 games. 2, he forces Jalen Duren off the team because he doesn't like competing with guards who names start with J.
I do think the Imani Bates hate from MSU fans is going to become. You want to be mature, but I think it's going to be a little real when he's at Memphis. And he's playing well, and it's just a little bit like, if you're going to go to college, why didn't you go to MSU like you originally thought? I think there's going to be a little of that. Like, I don't think he's not in the Big Ten. MSU's going to have a good team and a good season, I think, and has a nice mix of guys that I'm not sure Bates would have fit. But I think there
was an article that came out in Sports Illustrated. Bates say that he was going to quit basketball altogether or something like that.
Was that
was some
Pat
SI
40 thing? Yeah, I'll have to, I have not read that yet, but I saw the column.
Lydia Tripp up next. Number 1, MSU football. Not sure how good or bad will be. Neither does Graham Stout. With 2021 being so much, is it too much to hope MSU will be watchable this year? I'm not sure I can take the disappointment of drinking the MSU football Kool-Aid. 2, from a friend, there are 2 classes of problems, ones that can be solved with money and ones that can't. The ones that can be solved with money are the easy ones if you have money.
Little philosophizing there.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take. Hoping Michigan State football will be watchable, though, I think is a reasonable hope. And that's when I talk about them being mediocre but different. I think that's important. That even if they're mediocre, it doesn't look like the 19-17 loss. That if they're going to lose, they lose 37-34, and the offense is, gives them a shot, and they're a little more exciting. I think people will be able to stand mediocrity right now if they're just interesting and different. I mean, if you're not watching or saying bland, boring in football, if where they're faltering is defensively mostly, people will be okay with it. Or if they turn the ball over a little too much, people will be frustrated. And I think people trust this staff that defensively they'll be able to fix it. When you look at the talent on the staff and the way they're recruiting, that over time that's not going to be an issue. What you want to see is this program start to get the offense going.
All right, Jay let's do those next at the top of the hour.
Okay,
right?
Sounds good.
Like a live read. We only got a minute left.
Yep. Oh, so we're just going?
You want to do a live read or something? Or
we're saying that live on air? Do I want to do a live read? Okay, yeah. Okay, sounds good. Let's talk about Midtown Brewing Company.
How about it?
Yeah, telling you, amazing place. If you have not been to Midtown Brewing Company, give them a shot. Their brunch menu is outstanding. Their regular menu is outstanding. It's eclectic. It's like if you go there and you want something light, they've got great salads. They've got great sandwiches. They've got good soups. If you want something a little heavier, they've got that. They've got amazing burgers, outstanding beer selection, really cool vibe. I mean, it's one of my favorite places in the world to just sit and have a beer with a friend, have a meal. I'm telling you, Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing. And if you go there, let them know.
Graham will be up at the bar, hammering food.
Yeah. And let them know Couch in the Rube sent you. Yeah. They'll like to hear that. They will. Let us know what you think as well. All right, we'll be right back with plenty more of your hot takes. Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis.
find our live stream, podcast archives, as well as show, affiliate, and sponsorship information at our website, spotlightmediastudios.com.
Hello, this is Mary Stucco with Education Unfiltered. Education is so important, and it doesn't mean you have to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a PhD. It's really about what is best for you and what you need to take, whether it's a certificate or studying something in the trades or you need an associate's degree to further develop yourself. There's a great opening for people at all ages and at all stages of life who are looking to go back into education and redevelop themselves. Check out my latest podcast with Davenport University and Lansing Community College as they join forces to host an online event to start or finish your degree. Like and subscribe to Spotlight Podcast on our YouTube and Facebook pages and watch all my episodes, or you can listen in on your favorite podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play by simply searching Education Unfiltered. This is Mary Stucco. See you soon with more conversation on Education Unfiltered.
When it's your moment, that once-in-a-lifetime moment, you don't just want jewelry. You can get that anywhere. You want a memory that will go down in history, your moment. We're Metalware, crafted with exquisite style, quality, and love, so your present will be stunning every time you look at it, every time someone notices it, and they will notice. We've devoted our lives to this art, and we're proud to share it with you. The gift you want to give is here.
Metalware Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, Portage, and Brighton.
Live across the Great Lakes State, you're connected to Michigan's most engaging and influential radio and television program, Michigan's Big Show, starring Michael Patrick Shields.
Great to be with you, Michael Patrick. You're the show I would want to be on. Forget those other ones.
Michael Patrick, it's always a pleasure to be on the air with the King of the Airwaves. Thanks for having me on again.
That's a very good question.
Those are all great questions. Good morning.
Thank you. Michigan's Michael Patrick Shields.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Crowds of Afghans are flooding into the airport in Kabul, hoping to leave the country. Outside the airport, the Taliban is cementing its control of the capital after overrunning the country in a matter of days. Air travel has reportedly been temporarily suspended at the airport as the U.S. military tries to secure the area. Younger Americans are no longer shrugging off the coronavirus as record numbers of them are ending up in the hospital. NBC's Sam Brock.
With the nation squarely in the grip of the Delta surge, new fears the worst may be yet to come. Across the country, cases have jumped nearly 20% week over week, with COVID hospitalizations creeping up 26.5%.
The weather system called Fred is back up to tropical storm strength as it bears down on the Florida Panhandle. The region is under a tropical storm warning as up to a foot of rain and possible tornadoes could blast the region today and tomorrow. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Michael Patrick, welcome to Dusty's. Did you walk up today?
I sure did. I walked up here to the patio at the tap room, having a glass of wine, and then going next door, Matt Rhodes, to your Dusty's cellar to get my 6 for $60, and I'm going to carry them all the way home with me because I'm counting my calories and counting my steps these days.
Yeah, the 6 for $60 is going great for the summer, and we have a whole new category of wines called Better For You wines, which have 0 sugar and less calories.
No kidding. So for a glass of that, how many calories?
85 calories or less.
That's all. That's fantastic. All right. I feel good about that. I'm going to try those, and I'm looking forward to that. And we are here at Dusty's Cellar and the tap room. And by the way, it's not only the wine that walks out of here. You're doing a fairly brisk business in the catering, I hear.
That's right. Catering's picking up as fall comes, and tailgate season is almost here.
Isn't that great? People are having parties again. They're getting together again. And what better way to have a party than not have to worry about the stress of cooking? Have you do it.
Come see us on Grand River and Okemos or online at dustycellar.com.
Cheers.
Cheers, Michael Patrick.
I'm Tony Cuthbert with your Spotlight Sports Update. The Tigers are avoiding history despite an 11-0 setback to the Indians at Comerica Park. Harold Castro broke up Tristan McKenzie's bid for a perfect game with a 2-out single in the 8th inning. The Tigers dropped 2 of 3 in the series to fall to 58 and 62 on the season. The Angels will be in town starting tomorrow night with Miguel Cabrera still seeking career home run number 500. The Pistons are back on the court tonight taking on the Orlando Magic to wrap up their stay in Sin City. Detroit has split its first 4 games in Las Vegas Summer League action after back-to-back wins over the Knicks and Lakers over the weekend. And Michigan State golfer James Piot was the winner of the U.S. Amateur Championship on Sunday. With the victory, Piot earns automatic entries into the Masters, U.S. Open, and the Open Championship.
All right, hour 2 of Couch in the Roof, presented by Skyman Premium Cannabis, inspiring people to do better, be better, look better, feel better every day of their lives. You can go to Skyman locations throughout Michigan. They got a new one in Coldwater, the new one in Big Rapids, just about everywhere. In Ann Arbor, west side of the state, east side of the state, north side of the state, and obviously 3 in the greater Lansing area. And when you go, use the promo code CouchandRube20. for 20% off your purchase. And I'm telling you, you're going to like this place. Let them guide you on your cannabis journey as they have for me and the Michael Jordan of weed over here, Jason Nick.
The Joe Ingles, you mean?
The Joe Ingles of weed.
That's what I prefer.
Jason Nick. That's more accurate.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig back into these hot takes.
David Jackson up next. Number 1, Miggy will get number 500, but it'll happen on the road. 2, I know movies are a derivative now, full of sequels, but I was not expecting to see the Fall of Saigon 2 happen in real life. 3, the Michigan excuses are like none other. I hear that other Big Ten schools sometimes beat Ohio State while Michigan cannot because the Buckeyes prepare for Michigan all year long. It makes me wonder, at halftime of the Big Ten title game in 2013, Urban spent halftime breaking down Michigan film.
It is a problem for Michigan, and it's too bad in the sense that, like, for them, that beating Ohio State is going to be so much harder than it is for everybody else. Not that Ohio State takes a lot of games off, but we have seen in the past them have that letdown night. Big night on, it's a tough night at Purdue or Iowa on campus where it's, big crowd for the opposing team, and they're just a little not focused. And they lose one. They have a dud. We've seen Penn State play them well. They're always going to be up for Michigan. They are determined to keep Michigan in its place beneath them. And that means for Michigan actually to beat Ohio State, they're probably going to have to rise to their level or close to it, which is a hard thing to do. Which, I know for Michigan fans it can be frustrating, but that's the reality of a rivalry sometimes. If you're not there, when Michigan State was beating Michigan year in and year out for a while, there was just no way Michigan State was going to let Michigan, when Michigan State was better than Michigan, was clearly better than Michigan, there was no way Michigan State was not going to hammer that point home in that particular game. And, that's the hard part for Michigan.
Jeff from Tucson up next. Number 1, USGA golf champion James how do you say this? Piot stays for his 5th year at MSU and leads the Spartans to the national championship in 2022. No need to go pro yet, as he is a cast as a Danny Noonan in the latest Caddyshack sequel. 2, Graham adds another podcast to his repertoire as he joins Matt 5 days a week on Locked On Spartans. 3, Jason, I listened to the O.J. Simpson Twitter post and I don't know the difference between the Yogi Bear and Yogi Berra in his latest rationale as how he is a normal guy with a horrible fake laugh. Ha ha. Hello, Twitter world. OJ giving advice and worldly advice is such it's an interesting deal. I do watch those videos sometimes, though. Yeah. They have to make Fred Goldman just angry.
Yeah.
I hope one just ends with Fred Goldman hitting him with a shovel in the back of his head, and that's his last post.
You remember when
Does that mean?
You remember when Doug Warren talked about killing raccoons with a shovel in the backyard? Did we do that on air? When was that? That whole.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I was just thinking
hitting OJ with a
hitting things with a shovel.
Oh,
story worth telling. Presented by Midtown Brewing
Wow,
Company.
what a memory!
Yeah, it was like a rabid raccoon in the backyard that he just pelted it with a shovel.
Doug probably just grabbed it by his hand.
Yeah,
punched it.
Probably. We're going to get into the James Piot. There's some more hot takes coming with him as well. I did join Matt Sheehan on Locked On Spartans, and that came out this morning. It was a good conversation. We got into, some stuff that we maybe don't get into here, weirdly.
Like what? Prostitute talk?
Yeah, more of that.
Hawaii spa?
Stuff like that.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. We get into those things here.
Yes. Jay from North Coast Wealth Management has hot takes. And number one is there's some Jar Jar Binks in Graham's Yoda. Careful, woke Graham. Everybody knows Binks was born of George Lucas's racism. Is that true? It is? 2, Ted
True, that is.
Ted Lasso writer stole Graham's likeness. Ted often using I appreciate you. Roy Kent coaching little girl soccer and Higgins sporting multi-chins. And 3, Man City repeat.
Yeah, Man City sucked the other day. And but the Ted Lasso thing, which I keep telling Jason he'd love to watch, is very true. He does say I appreciate you. And one of the other stars does coach a bunch of youth girls soccer team. Maybe that's why I relate so damn well. Yeah.
So does that mean it's terrible since you like it so much?
No, I think it's fantastic. No. Speaking of people you may relate to, Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management, both Michigan State grads, class of 95, smart guys. Mark's a certified financial planner. Jay's a lawyer. Both are licensed, experienced wealth advisors. They want to help your money work for you. Any investment questions, give them a call, shoot them an email. You go to northcoastwm.com for more information. You can email them at info@northcoastwm.com or call them 248-626-2000. Let them know Couch in the Rube sent you. That's how you heard. And they'll give you a free consultation. You'll see if it's a good fit for you. Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management.
Gavin Haas up next. Number 1, Angelo Gross is the next Darquez Denard. This take may or may not have bloomed from him following me back on Twitter. That's what all it takes, huh? 2, I take back my Lions 7-10 take. This team will be lucky to win one game, and Dan Campbell will be lucky to have a job halfway through the season.
Whoa,
after one preseason game.
Hot take.
15-year-old on fire. 3, I would love to see Dave Blau as the quarterback number 1 for the Lions. His sizing might not be the best, but he plays a fun, aggressive game and is easy to root for.
Hot takes all around here. First of all, Darquez Denard finished at MSU when Gavin was 7, I think. Maybe 8, 7. So, not that he wouldn't remember him. Some of us have good memories. I am not giving up on Jeff. What the fuck's the Lions quarterback's name?
Jared Goff.
Jeff. I couldn't think of his first name.
Did Doug tell a story about hitting a raccoon with a shovel? That's where your knowledge of the name of the Lions quarterback went.
Sorry.
Cockburn.
Jared Goff to me. I want to see what happens this year. I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
maybe it'll suck.
Let's see what happens.
Doug Warren thinks it's going to be 7 wins or more. You do not, though. You think it's going to be way lower than that. Huh?
Yes, 4 wins.
If they win one game all year, does Dan Campbell keep his job?
Yes, due to Lions ownership. I mean, if the team revolts, if players start hating their coach like they did Matt Patricia, possibly. But I don't think many, even the Lions brass, are expecting much this season.
The one thing they have, the advantage they have in the way they did the hire for Dan Campbell, is that the GM really didn't make this hire, which allows you, if things don't go well with Campbell, to say, this wasn't his guy, let him bring his guy in. It gives you that ability.
Kind of like what Bob Quinn did. Brought his guy in.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it works. I think no matter what, he's going to get 2 years. Maybe not if he goes 0-16 like what's his nuts? Who was the coach that year? The
Schwartz?
No, he was the defensive line guy.
Schwartz?
Nope. Older guy. Schwartz is not.
Bobby Ross.
Nope. Jesus. Okay. Hold on. We have to get this because people are going to be screaming at their computers.
I know. That's why it's the best.
You know it, too.
Steve Mariucci?
No. It was Rod Marinelli.
Thanks for your patience.
God damn it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. It was more of a listener thing.
Yeah.
I just want people like, come on. I can see David Jackson's probably jumped through his headset.
So Rod Marinelli had a quote late in that year when they asked him if he was going to have a job, and he goes, well, You can't go 0-16 and come back. I mean, he just kind of knew it. You can't go winless in return.
Yeah, that's tough. Thomas Zambiasi up next. Number 1, I love a good stack of pancakes or French toast, but breakfast should be more savory than sweet the larger they get. All right. 2 construction sites need signs for expected completion dates. I like to know when I can stop taking a detour to work. And 3, I don't think the win-loss record will be anything close, but this MSU football season